Might wonder what unifies the LOC. Well, there's going to be no acting this year, just talking. Didn't really have time to prepare a proper video that I thought was worthy of commission intro. So this is just where I will talk about our league. We are global number one. We got five countries represented in this league. Of course, myself as Canadian, many other Canadians, lots of Americans, and we have people from England, we have people from Serbia, and we have people from Germany. And honestly, I would love to see those numbers get up even more. So for some of you people overseas or even some of our North American friends, if you know some people maybe in South America, maybe more in Europe, I'm always open to getting some new referrals in, especially international referrals. Next, well, what keeps us unified? Well, how about the weekly recaps, everybody? For anyone that was around last year, the weekly recaps were added, and what a difference it made, right? I mean, to wake up every morning after football week is over and to go over the recap of every single league in the format of what happened, it really does unify the tiers. And I do think it unifies also the dynasties. So of course, we added the new dynasty this year, so we are now five leagues in the LOC format. And this year, once again, those weekly recaps will be featured, adding the new dynasty as well. Last but not least, we are the LOC family. It was funny. This league was once criticized for being a family league. It is a family league. We got wives in here. We got brothers in here. We might even have some sisters in here. Well, we got a sister-in-law. So yeah, we are family. And honestly, for the teams that have been around a long time, I just want to say thank you. A lot of you have stuck up for me in a lot of scenarios where, I it felt like, is this really worth going on? And lots of shout outs to people like Dushan, Danny, Ryan. I could think of many more, but those are a few that I just think about that were there in certain situations when I really needed another voice, and you were there. So I just want to say thank you to this LOC family for sticking by my side. And really, it's you that makes this the best fantasy league out there. Thank you.
A few moments later.
Hey everyone, guess is back. It's the commish back here with another draft preview, and this time we're featuring the first of our first year owners. We got two this year. It's Cody and Bishop Sycamore, last year's Tier 2 champion, and a champion that took me down in that final. Made, like I say, the three finals, lost every single one. So I definitely feel like, the Buffalo Bills for sure. But for Cody, things might be different for him as he enters Tier 1. I will say that Cody and Bishop Sycamore here has fell into a hell of a great position in terms of the team he inherited, and he's about to enter a division where two of the teams are completely destroyed in terms of a draft pick scenario. So let's just get right into the preview. So first off, the keeper is good quality. All right, you got Caleb Williams. Let's face it, this guy's the next phenom at quarterback, right? We saw what he did. Johnny Manziel, like Texas Tech throws, and those are huge points. And Caleb Williams does put up huge points. He puts up 40-point games. Yeah, there's some games where he struggles, but you're just hoping you can bank on those 40-point games. And Caleb Williams is starting to become a star in the NFL, and they're going to want to hype that. Plus, let's not forget, it sounds like Chicago is getting the new stadium, right? You know my theories on that, folks. Team getting a new stadium, usually that team starts to perform. So I expect Caleb Williams to continue to do well for you in terms of fantasy production. And then the running backs. Well, arguably, the projected RB1 and Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, Bijan Robinson, I think, is going to take that prize this year just because Stefanski is a run-heavy coach. But Jameer Gibbs, I mean, let's face it, he's the bell cow there now. David Montgomery's gone. I know they brought in Pacheco. Pacheco might get those goal line snaps or touchdowns, which does hurt Gibbs a little bit. But Gibbs is the all-around back, right? He's going to be catching the balls. He's going to be running the ball. And I can't even believe that you inherited a team that actually has Caleb Williams and Jameer Gibbs on the roster. Like that does not happen typically. It's just because the one team retired and also puts you in a great scenario for the draft, which we'll discuss. Then you got James Cook, again on a high volume, high scoring offense with the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, arguably projected QB1 in fantasy every year. And James Cook's going to benefit from that, right? There's no doubt about it. He's the primary back there, and he should also put up good points. DK Metcalf's a bit of a whatever. Aaron Rodgers, let's face it, he's a shell of what he was in the past. Don't get me wrong, I respect Rodgers. He was a great quarterback. But at the age of 42 or whatever the hell he's at now, things are obviously slowing down for him. But DK Metcalf can still bust out on those big plays, and he's definitely got the size to do so. So definitely worse players to have. And then Isaiah Likely, let's face it, he following Harbaugh to New York, and maybe that's why Harbaugh left. He wanted to get rid of Mark Andrews after he dropped that ball, that wide open ball against the Chiefs, of course. But hey, it happens. Or was it against the Chiefs or was it Buffalo? I can't even remember. I don't even care, to be honest. But Isaiah Likely should put up some big points. I feel Jackson Dart, he's the next white hope at quarterback. And I think he's in a big market, and that's where you want to be, right? Big market, big points. And I do think Likely's going to take off this year. And then you got Nick Bolton at linebacker for Kansas City. Again, pretty decent IDP to have. No real complaints there. Looking at who else he could have probably kept. Excuse me. I mean, to a lesser extent, Khalil Shakur, but are you going to keep him over Metcalf? Probably not, right? Um, looking at the rest of the roster, it's pretty sad. So I think you're keeping the right players, right? And you're also going to be adding a hell of a player here in the draft, which we'll get into in a moment. Looking at the recap for last year, well, for you, it's pretty easy. You were the Tier 2 champion, like I mentioned at the beginning of this preview. I will say a lot of people in Tier 2, myself included, feel you got lucky. I thought you were literally a mediocre team all year. And then you got into the playoffs and your team just turned it up and you started putting up big numbers. And again, it just goes to show you, you just got to make the dance. And then as soon as you make the dance, you can win it. And you did, right? There's a lot of good owners that got left holding their bag. One of them, Scooter Ray, right? He was undefeated all year. So the fact that you were able to go in there, beat me, beat lots of good teams that could have moved up, that I personally thought did better than you throughout the year. Not saying you're a bad owner. I think you're a great addition to the top tier here. But I definitely do feel you did get lucky last year. All right, looking at the draft pick scenario, so the team ahead of you didn't make any moves, which I respect because they announced their retirement. So they wanted to leave you a clean slate of picks, and that's exactly what's happened here. And because they won consolation, guess what? Your prize, Jeremiah Love. I mean, what an addition. Jeremiah Love could easily replace either Metcalf or Likely as a future keeper, which, again, gives you really a triple-headed monster at running back moving forward, and a scary one, right? I mean, Gibbs, Jeremiah Love. I mean, what? How did you inherit this team? Can we trade teams? I mean, honestly. And then you have the advantage, and I'm going to call it advantage. In a draft, I like picking near the first few picks or the last few. Being in the middle sucks. When you have a draft pick scenario like you have, picking right after the other, it gives you the ability to double up on wide receiver or double up on IDP or double up on tight end, whatever the case may be. And I think it does put you in a position to prepare for this draft quite easily, right? So when we look at 11 to 20, obviously, same thing. You got the 10 picks there. So you got the 10 picks in the first 10 rounds, 10 picks here. And then, of course, ending it off in the final 9 rounds. So, again, the double up strategy is really something you're going to, I think, have to focus on. I always felt it's great to double up on a position group, but it's your draft. You're going to decide how you do it. And of course, you're just going to have to see how the draft plays out to decide how you're going to fill out the roster. And remember, this is a marathon draft. Tier two is a bit of a marathon, but with 4 less teams. So just remember that you're going to be here for a big chunk of the day on this draft. Looking at your first pick, well, this is the easiest first pick, I think, out of any team that we've looked at. Sleeper ADP has it bang on. It's Jeremiah Love, best available. Who is the best available? Well, it's Jeremiah Love. So there really is no surprise here. I really do hope that you don't take a lot of time to pick your first pick. The reason for that is because, let's face it, the draft really starts at pick 2. And that's hopefully, something that you make happen sooner rather than later, obviously. And then looking at the barometer chart, well, can you hit the bottom 4? Well, the only way I see this happening is if you fail miserably at the draft and you don't pick Love. Maybe you decide you're going to go Carnell Tate. That would be a huge mistake. So yeah, I don't think you're finishing bottom 4, but again, if you fail miserably at the draft, maybe that could happen. I see it being a consolation contender if Gibbs and or Cook gets hurt and you have a bad draft. Like if both of those guys went down, that's going to be hard to recover from. One of the strategies you might want to look at with some of your mid picks, of course, picking these guys as handcuffs, right? That's always a big and important strategy in tier one, I feel, is if you do have the ability to pick up the handcuff, it always helps with those injuries. I think you're a playoff team bare minimum. I think you inherited again an unbelievable roster for your first year and a great pick scenario. Like to come into tier one and be able to pick first in a draft, like you're one lucky SOB. That's all I can say. In terms of the division title in the American, I think No More and Deuce are literally going to be clinging to survival, and the 2 games they have against one another might be very important in determining how those teams do. But don't discredit those teams. I know they're going to put whatever it takes to survive, which includes trading. And I can speak for both of them. They're good traders. They like the trade. They know how to trade. So you can't just sit on your butt and think that, oh, I'm good. Like, those teams definitely will try to find a way to compete. Your biggest competitors for the crown do appear to be Sky Blue, though, in my opinion, maybe Banjo Blitz, but definitely Sky Blue with all the picks. And then I see you going champion if you go all in, right? You can trade 5 and 10. That's the rules here. And Gibbs is RB1 for the year, and Love is huge in year one, which might be a tall task just because Algier is there. They did sign him to the contract. He's going to get his carries. James Conner is still there. But Love is clearly the guy and clearly a future keeper. But you never know what can happen. And the fact that you're going to have 3 good running backs right off the hop with an unbelievable quarterback really puts you in a great position. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how you navigate in tier one versus tier two, where, for the most part, I will say, Cody, you didn't make a lot of trades there either. And I can tell you here in tier one, unlike tier two, probably a quarter of the owners are still garbage, right? I hate to say it, no offense to the tier two owners, but so those guys are never going to have what it takes to get up here, right? You did, right? But now you're going to have to step it up. Like if you forget about waivers, you're done. If you don't make some trades to go all in, if you are in a championship contending year, you're done because other teams will. I can pretty much guarantee that. Anyways, Cody, happy to have you aboard, and I hope you're enjoying tier one. And let's see if you can prove yourself in the top tier. Good luck.